Hey everyone, so this new patch came out pretty recently, and it's supposedly revamped competitive. So I've decided to queue up for some, and then we can talk about my opinions after my first match. I'm queued for competitive. Queue for competitive. Queue for competitive. Queue for competitive. Queue for competitive. Still queued for competitive though.
Still. We should be putting a timer on this.
I mean, so far I've been in for like 2.5 hours. Just waiting. Still queued for competitive though. Don't worry. It's queued. No? Competitive match is ready!
Oh fuck,
Oh, I'm pumped. Swiftwater, okay. Not the best map, but oh, I'm pumped. How was your guys' queue times for this? My queue time has been 3 hours so far.
Really? No. That's, no.
You guys haven't had that? No!
Well,
No! Now, you may have chuckled at that intro a little bit, but I think the real funny thing about it is that I'm not joking. This actually happened to me the day of the update. Thanks, Gaben. But later that day I actually got into a comp match, so I will be sharing my opinion on the actual modifications to it later in the video. But the first thing I want to mention about this patch is the general gameplay changes. Also, this is Valve, by the way, so Heavy wasn't touched at all during this update. You know, same old there. But that doesn't mean I won't be talking about the other changes. Gotta milk that update, boys! So, a few weapons received nerfs. Most notably, all flamethrowers got a damage ramp up based on the density of flame encountered, meaning you have to be closer to the middle of the fire for it to do the most damage to you, and the initial flame damage per second was reduced by 50%. So, if you've ever had to fight a pyro in this game before, I bet this news gave you a semi. I know it gave me one. Then the Dragon's Fury was also nerfed, making the hitbox of the fireball smaller, and the bonus damage on the burning players harder to get, because of the more conservative, smaller hitbox. Which is nice, because I think this weapon was a little bit broken, and now it's less broken, if you want to call it that. Then the other pyro weapon that was completely demolished was the Extinguisher. The new designs decided to go with mini-critting on burning players, and you also get a speed boost for killing burning player with one swing, but it extinguishes said burning player if it doesn't kill them in one hit, and it has a reduced base damage with slower holster, and of course, no random crits, which is by far the worst downside you could get. No random crits, oof, that's a real kicker there. Then some minor weapon changes were made, like the short circuit shooting an orb that removes projectile rather than the hit scan, and also beefing up the panic attack a little bit. Not really by much, but still. Ultimately, the main chunk of the gameplay altercations in this patch were around fixing existing bugs and making Pyro be less cutthroat, I guess you could say. So I think that 95% of the player base would agree these changes were warranted and are pretty decent. But maybe that's just the salt talking from when Pyro won Meet Your Match. Yes, I still fucking remember that. I'm going to beat all Pyros into a pulp until I get my Heavy update. So Casual got a few minor changes. The first major thing that some people may be excited for is the return of auto balance. Now, it's not exactly like it was back in pubs, but it is still there. Now it will send out an offer to the other team requesting for players to join, and if no one joins after a while, it will roofie you and drag you to the losing side. Which I kinda like. Bill Cosby's always been a big inspiration for me, and I think giving people roofies has never, ever been a bad. Oh yeah, back to Autobot. Sorry, I just get excited when I start talking about Bill Cosby, because really, I think it was allegedly, okay? He allegedly. Oh shit, I'm sorry. I gotta stop doing that. Anyways, the reason I like this, because before, it would offer you to change teams, but why the fuck would you ever change teams to the losing side? Most people wouldn't choose to get rolled, so this feature was essentially useless. But hey, now a working version of balancing teams is back, so that's a plus. And speaking of balancing, another major thing casuals set off to do is that they have decided to add a minor Glico skill rating system behind the scenes of casual. This is supposedly to help balance teams and prevent each round from being a stomp fest. But from my personal experience, I doubt much, if anything, will occur from this change. On the bright side, however, they did re-add the old maps they removed during Meet Your Match. So, CTF Well, CTF Sawmill, and 2 Fort Invasion are back from the dead, just to name a few. As for the queuing itself, they did make it so now you can queue for multiple things at a time, which is exceedingly nice. Also, you can now play quick play while you wait to get to your competitive match, which is really handy as competitive queue times are still extremely long. So now you can play a round of quick play while you wait for your match, which is a really nice addition to the system. Also, other players in the party can freely browse the matchmaking menu and play what they'd like while they wait for a comp or man versus machine. Honestly, I think this new queuing system can actually combat that of Overwatch. Now, finally, competitive. They fixed it. Ish. Now, instead of all players starting at level 1, having to work their way up, there are now placement matches of a sort, and it's heavily based off the Glico system used in CSGO. Which, it's about goddamn time. I mean, how long has comp been out, and only now are they fixing the most blatant problem with it yet? But hey, you can't be too mad. This is the company in charge of Half-Life 3, so just be glad that the main talent for the game haven't left yet. Then they also reset all of the ranks of the people who actually played comp, because fuck you in particular for trying to win, and they also reduced the ranks from 18 to 13 because... reasons. Also, they changed the requirements to having to be a premium user, at least level 3 in casual, having a valid phone number associated with your account, and sacrificing your firstborn son to the devil himself. But other than that, it's kinda same as. Now, hopefully this video entices you to try out competitive, because that is probably the biggest issue with TF2 comp. No one plays it. To simply put, I feel like the people who want to play TF2 competitively already have UGC and EFTL, as well as TF2 Center and many other websites. The alleged pro to using the official comp is that it's supposed to be quicker, which it's not. And the reason it's not quicker is because no one plays it, so there are less people to get you grouped up with, which takes more time, which then encourages less players to play, and on and on and on until it's completely empty. Now, it's not innately flawed. I think it could be a working system if there was incentive to play it. Like in Overwatch, if you want to get a gold weapon, the only way to get them is by playing a pretty large amount of competitive. Now, Team Fortress 2 has one of the largest virtual economies in a video game that I've ever played, and it seems like a missed opportunity to not offer any sort of cosmetic bonus for being good at the official competitive. Maybe just a higher chance of a drop, or maybe just giving some stupid little cosmetic that people can wear. Maybe give them a skin. I don't care. People will do it if they get something out of it. With that said, I still think that this version of comp in TF2 is one of the best states it's ever been in, second to the closed beta. It felt relatively balanced and there was actual communication with people who wanted to win the game just as much as you.
Sorry, that was really hurt. That's fun. That's fun.
I think there's real potential if the queuing times were just shorter, which means that there needs to be more players queued up for games. So I entice you, the viewer, to go try this mode and see if you like it. Who knows, maybe you'll see me in a game, especially since I seem to be the only goddamn person queued up for matches. All in all, this patch, let's not forget this is a patch, was nice and especially long overdue. It is refreshing to hear from the TF team again, and I can't really appreciate all the effort they are putting forth to keep this game afloat. I certainly don't have any problems with it, besides the restriction of HUDs, but it doesn't do anything groundbreaking. Think of it like adding sprinkles onto an ice cream. It adds a nice addition and you'll think, that was nice, but it's not a second scoop. It's nothing drastic. Ultimately, this has encouraged me to go play more TF2, and I actually impulsively bought a Scorching Flames football helmet because I enjoyed it that much. So if that doesn't say I'm back into TF2, I don't know what will. I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know if you'd like to see more Team Fortress 2 content. Have a swell rest of your day, and peace out.